Well, last week I just got the basics down from the sketch that I'd done all those years ago. So we've got the distance trees here, an island with some firs on it here, an interesting battered tree trunk here, and a bit of rock and sand, and a sort of sketchy sky. Well, I'm now going to refine the picture because I've got the picture now. I'm not even looking at the sketch. I'm going to see what I can do with this to make it um, more appealing, more finished, more satisfying. Right, so I'm going to start with these distant trees. And it occurred to me while I was looking at it over the week, because what I do is prop it up in the studio and look at it every time I go in. I thought that if I brought some autumn color into this here, it would tie this to the back. I don't want to do it strongly like that. I want to do it in a muted form. So I'm going to take some white. Remember, if you want to make a pale color, you start with the lightest color first and then add the darks to it. If you go the other way around, you end up with such an almighty gob of paint that you never get to the bottom of it. Right, and the blue I'm using is Prussian, which is a beast. I'm going to put that on my knee if you don't mind. So I'm making a pale-ish blue. Come on, you. Tell you, when you don't want him to work, there we are. That's too much. That's far too vigorous. So I had to do what I should have done before. That tells you what Prussian blue is like. You know, it's a real. Never mind. I want a lot of paint for this. What I'm going to do now. Put a bit more white in. But that color. It is darker than the sky. Right now, I'm going to take uh, shall we say a little bit rosso burnt sienna, an autumnal, mix it into a little of that blue. What the blue is doing is muting the brown. That's quite interesting. And if I take a bit of red, you do get quite violent colors in America. The colors at what they call the fall is pretty bright, aren't they? That's a bit more red. I want it muted. Now, if we add a bit of yellow to it, you get a sort of orange. So you're getting the browns muted by the blue that I've already made. Muted colors. Behind here. Do it a bit more brown in the brown. A bit more sporty sort of colour. Right. Eventually that will come over the line. Yeah, but I'm just fading it out at the moment because that's what you can do. I usually find when I do this, it grows like popsy. It starts to creep down the page. So, you know, I suppose we could have a bit of green in there, couldn't we? Just a bit. Trying to make sure that the skyline isn't too regular. These are meant to be deciduous trees. Next time you see uh, the is using softer colors to push that further back. I've actually brought it further forward than it was originally because it was very pale originally. But I'm quite happy about that. It's not a problem really. Whoops. Right. I've got quite a strong red over there, so I think I'll finish off with a sort of, well, that's a nice pretty pen. Now they do need a bit of dark in them. I'm going to take the I can't use the Prussian as the dark neat because he's too vibrant. He needs to be brought back a bit. So burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is a reddy colour, and the Prussian is a greeny yellowy colour, so they tend towards mud if you mix them together. Um, so that I don't want it to be too dark because again, I'm trying to keep the colours muted. When you're putting in shadows, remember to try and be consistent. Doesn't always happen. And if you came and looked at this, these are just spots of paint. They're not almost characteristic in its execution. Nobody's going to look at this very closely, I hope. So it's not too important. Let's do it a bit more. It's going to be too dark. That's too definite. Oh, it's too definite. Yeah, okay. Maybe for bushes. The caveman can. Right, okay, that's fairly muted, isn't it? Yeah, why is that painting? Right. Somewhere in there. We've got the paint rag. I've got a clean paint rag and a filthy paint rag, so we'll start with the filthy one first. Right. Well, I think the next thing to do, I'm going to leave the water for the time being. When I feel happy about this, I will actually reinstate the distant shore so that it's not a fuzzy line like it is at the moment. But if I'm going to do the island now, it's a bit nearer. We could probably do with brighter, happier colors. So if I take some, thank you, a bit of yellow to it. It's a nice bright orangey yellow. I've got more than one brush. This is what happens when I get really interested. I forget that I can use a different brush. Except I don't seem to have one I want to use. Okay, we'll continue with this one. Right, I can put in some darks because there will be some darks. That's sap green. Neat. Without any mixture on it. I think we want this bush to stand out a bit, so I'll flag in a bit of this. That's not dark enough. So I'm going to sorry, I should be talking. I'm very sorry. I'm thinking, actually. So I forget that I have an audience. Yes, this is Viridian mixed with Prussian blue with anything else I feel like throwing in at the same time. There's no exact. Not entirely happy with the brush apart from anything else. However, we'll persevere. I knew it was around somewhere. I've got a selection of drawing brushes, if you like. They should, if all is equal, give me a nice. I'm shaking that really. No, I can't do it that way. Oops. Not where you belong. Well, yes. Well, it depends on you actually. It depends on how you want. You can. My hand shakes more going up than it does coming down for some reason best known to itself. Actually, that's too green. You can talk all the theory you like, you know. In the end, you put the paint on and see if it works. That needs to be much. I don't think if I was painting at home that I would actually put the trunk in as one piece. You could have sort of worked it down and then put in a bit of the quite an interesting tree as I remember it. So I don't know if I'm getting the interest I want. If you, it's picking up the paint underneath there. Still, it's nice and stark, isn't it? That's, no, I think what I find is by the time I reach the end of the half hour, I'm doing the demonstration, I'm beginning to get into the picture. It does make life a little bit difficult. I want a real dark underneath that bush. Otherwise it doesn't work. It's getting no light there at all. If you want real dark colors, you have to avoid using white anywhere near. That just destroys what you're. Oh, I was going to put a bit of bright in there, wasn't I? The bright has disappeared. Let's get it back. Get it back. That's one filthy. Right. I was going to use that with some burnt sienna to give me an autumnal bright. Not a lot. Needs a touch or two just to suggest that there's come on you. Be kind. Right. Okay. Now.
If you think about where the light is, you always get the reflection where there's water.
No, it depends on how active the water is. If the water is tearing past and tumultuous and whatever, you don't get reflection. If it's still, then you do get reflections. And the easiest way to do that is to just pull the color down so that so that it just and then oh, yeah. Don't worry about me. And then this comes further down here. This is a bit of dark here. And because the paint I put on last time actually went across, it's given you the little ripple marks almost automatically. Yeah. So yeah, come along, come along. Right. Okay. The next thing to do is to work on this, which is the tree stump. And for that, I think I do need a sketch. How long have I got, Rachel? Right. Okay. The sketch is down there. Can you see it? Yes. Bless you. Thank you. I was saying a sketch. I said it probably took me an hour and a half to do that. Tragic, isn't it? But then it was a long time ago. I've learned a bit about drawing since then. Okay. So there, I did make quite an effort at getting the light and shade on that and the different pointy bits and all the rest of it. So I need a color. Right. If I mix, I might not get beyond finding the color today. Sort of. Well, if I hadn't used burnt sienna, I probably would have used burnt umber, which would give me the sort of color that I want. So I'm going to have to try to create it because I don't want to use too many um, colors when I'm working. That's a bit greeny. It's the trouble with right, I need a lot more white in there. Right at the front here, I want quite strong contrasts. So I want the colors to be really light or really dark so that they chatter to each other, you know? Lovely angle there. This might need to be dark rather than light up there. It's light in my drawing, but I think I might make it dark so that it shows up against the distance there. And it catches that. And for some reason, that's lighter around there. This is actually a rock, a set of rocks here. That's quite an interesting boulder. Not just any old rock. Right. Okay. So over here, we have a bit of sand or something. what I'm going to do for the dark. Part of the problem is I've got white on the brush. You will have to use another brush. You can. Not difficult. Just got to pick it up. Right. So I'm looking for a dirty dark. Have to be sharper than that. That is definitely it's an angle. Beginnings of it there anyway. Right. It's got the beginnings of the tree coming there. I'm not going to get to the rock very handily. I'll just sort of, I can draw it. I'll just sort of point like that. That. Much more interesting rock than the one I've got. There's a rock there. Shape there. It is putting in shadows where I can see them on the sketch. I mean, they must have been interesting because I put them in. It's a lake shore, so was before. Yeah. Okay.